What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB Recap. Sorry I missed yesterday, but I'm probably going to take Sundays off going forward. But anyways, Blake Snell, he came out of yesterday's game early versus the Yankees, and his recent free agency is looking like an absolute bust. Juan Soto, on the other hand, he's playing like a $600 million player. That's what the rumors are saying now. We had some tensions flare between the White Sox and the Brewers. Tommy Pham, he was literally shadowboxing the air. Two former top 10 draft picks just got sent down to AAA, and Vladdy Jr., yeah, the Blue Jays moved him yesterday. Stay tuned for that. And just a reminder, everyone, MLB Recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And right now on Underdog Fantasy, my favorite daily fantasy app, my code Fuzzy will get new users up to a $250 bonus cash credit. You're welcome. But before we show any highlights, I do have to talk about the fact that two top 10 picks from 2020 just got sent down. Reed Detmers has a 9 ERA since April 22nd, and for the second time since 2020, he has been sent down. Remember, he was the 10th overall pick. The first overall pick, Spencer Torkelson, he just got sent down as well. He's hitting .201 on the season with 56 strikeouts, a 70 OPS plus. He has a career negative 1.7 WAR. Let me repeat that. Through 323 games, he's been worth a negative 1.7 WAR. He absolutely deserved to get sent down. I'm hoping that they both bounce back because they can both be faces of the franchise. That's how good they are. Casey Mize might be next in terms of top draft picks who might need a reset in AAA. Boston, they tagged him for 3 runs in the first 3 innings. Emmanuel Valdez, he is such a 6-wing. He's been really good lately. He and Jarren Duran both singled in a run right before Devers turned on the Jets. He scoots around for an RBI 3-bagger. He has 424 extra base hits already in his career. He's only 27 years old. But here comes the Tigers. After scoring 2 off of Brian Bayo, you have Wenzel Perez tying it on a base knock to left center. Boston, they brought the infield in. Mark Canha, he had a perfect placement. Hamilton, he made a nice grab, but he did not have enough time to nab Riley Green at home. Staying with home, that's a home run. Rafi, he ties it on his 425th career extra base hit. He's so dang good. He has 11 home runs and an almost 160 OPS plus on the season. Now the Red Sox, they ended up loading the bases with 2 outs in the 9th. Connor Wong, it's far! And he missed it by a few feet. He's got to eat his Wheaties. Andy Ibanez and the Tigers, they then kind of rocked Cam Boozer. They owned the left side of the diamond. Ibanez had an RBI. Javier Baez had an RBI as well. He's hitting 191 on the season, but he has 25 RBIs because he's almost hitting 400 with runners in scoring position. He has an 8 OPS plus with no runners on and an almost 160 OPS plus with runners on. Carson Kelly's RBI double finished off the Red Sox. Both teams have been kind of hovering around 500 for the last month and a half. Ooh, we have 3 consecutive games won by a single run. Let's start with the Orioles because they called for backups after this game. We'll talk about that in a moment because Gunnar Henderson now has 19 home runs, 109 off the bat. He then singled in the 3rd inning. He stole his 8th bag a few moments later. He basically just manufactured a run all by himself, and I had some people yesterday say that Gunnar Henderson cannot be an MVP because he's hitting 268. Guys, if you're still using batting average as your #1 metric to being valuable, it's time to get with the times. He's on pace for the 2nd ever 50-20 season. He also plays Gold Glove defense. How can you say a player like that is not an MVP type player? Don't get me wrong, I still love batting average like Luis Arias, but all right, Adley, he knocked home a key 3rd run for Cole Irvin, and it's key because I think the Rays hate the #3. They got angry. Johnny DeLuca, he showed the anger, but Mullins, he robbed him. Now he's not going to rob this one though. After Tampa Bay got 1 across on a Yandy Diaz sac fly, Caballero, he beat the wall. He said, I'm not messing with Cedric Mullins at all, and he pulled it to left field. That ball barely left, even though it was hit 405 feet. That wall in left field is just stupid. Look who clutched up again for the Rays. Jose Siri has had one of the more clutch weeks of anyone this year. He had a web gem and a walk-off in the same game. He had a home run off of Mason Miller, and now he's got a go-ahead 2-run double. Pete Fairbanks, he then got the final 3 outs on 12 pitches for a 6 save. Now, after the game, because Jorge Mateo went down with a concussion, he was hit in the helmet on the on-deck circle. Hopefully, he's going to be okay. The Orioles, they called up Connor Norby, who had 9 home runs and 7 stolen bases in AAA. They just have prospects for days. We haven't even seen Kobe Mayo yet. I still think that Jackson Holiday is going to be good. Heston Kierstad, same thing. The Orioles legit have star prospects for days. Vladdy Jr. is playing 3rd base. He's played 4 innings at the hot corner since 2020. He's been locked in offensively, so I'm just crossing my fingers this does not throw him off offensively. Pittsburgh and Toronto, they traded runs in the 3rd inning. Tellez, he singles home Connor Joe, and Varsho, he scored on a Quinn Priester wild pitch. He spiked the curveball. The former Blue Jay Rowdy Tellez, he was at it again. He clutched up. He was the entire Pittsburgh offense through 5 and the rest of the game. And this is kind of funny. Not the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. RBI to right field to make it 3-2. This Vogelback swing is a lot of fun because he was on the the Pirates not too long ago. He was basically replaced by Rowdy Tellez, so he clutched up versus his former team, just like Rowdy Tellez did against his former team. So that is a massive go-ahead 2-run double for Vogelbach. Davis Schneider, he scored on that double, and now he's got an RBI double of his own. He officially enters the 30 RBI club. Rowdy Tellez, again, he lines one over Bo. O'Neal Cruz scores. Rowdy drove in every single run, but his teammates could not get anything going. Bay chased a ball in the mesosphere to end the game. I keep forgetting how to say his first name. Garcia strikes out 3 for his 3rd save. So Vogelbach put the team on his back. Now we're going to talk about the Diamondbacks. I'm really sorry, but listen, Ketel Marte, he's not going to win an MVP in his career, but my kids are going to know about Ketel Marte because he's been an absolute wizard in the batter's box. He swatted his first of 2 home runs. The second was really, really cool. Do not go anywhere. Lourdes, he joined the home run party with a home run off the second deck facade for his 7th of the year. And then Kevin Newman, he grounded out for a big RBI. It's big because the Mets got all 3 back in the 3rd inning. Pete Alonso, he got one through for RBI number 30. Brandon Nimmo, he got one past the diving Randall Grichuk. 2 are going to score on that 3-bagger. He's got 31 RBIs despite hitting 212, but he walks a ton, and he's got a 170 OPS plus with runners in scoring position. So he's kind of been Javier Baez with runners in scoring position and Javier Baez when runners are not in scoring position. JD Martinez put a charge into this one. The ball stays in, but that's back-to-back RBI triples for the Mets. JD now has a 130 OPS plus since turning 30 years old. He's easily been one of the best hitters of this era. Don't forget about Ketel Marte in that conversation. He saves the Diamondbacks with a 2-run screamer. He has 14 doubles, 12 home runs, a near 140 OPS plus, 9 defensive run saves, a 9 DRS, and 6 outs above average. He is genuinely a borderline 5-tool freak. Paul Sewald, he closes it out versus his former team. He's got a 1 ERA and 5 saves through his first 9 games. The Diamondbacks are trying their absolute best to catch up in the wildcard standings. They got some work to do, but hey, that's a big W. By the way, guys, if you're wondering why all of the players are wearing a number 4 patch, that's because it was Lou Gehrig Day. June 2nd is Lou Gehrig Day. I'm really happy that they continue to commemorate him because he's one of the best players of all time, and they're spreading awareness about ALS. Now let's hop back into the Padres and the Royals. After Vinny Pasquantino drove in Maikel Garcia on a sac fly, Luis Arias, he does what he always does. He singles off the nasty lefty Cole Reagans. Luis was thrown out at second for the 3rd out, and he kind of hurt his elbow in the process. Hopefully, he's going to be okay. Reagans and King, they were both fantastic. Michael King and Reagans combined for 13 innings, just 2 earned runs between the pair of them. The bullpens then said, nah, we don't want to match that. Kansas City lost their lead in the 8th inning. Tatis and Machado, they stepped up with RBI singles. All Yuki Matsui had to do was not that. Nelly Nukes, Nelson Velasquez smoked a 2-run triple, and then last but not least, Nick Lofton, he had a sac fly. That ends it. The Padres, they do suffer another choke job. The Royals win 4-3. I know some of you guys are like, Fuzzy, my man, it's June. Stop worrying so much about the standings and everything like that. But seriously, that's a big W for the Royals because they not only made the comeback, but Cleveland, they got beat by the Nationals. Carlos Carrasco, Mr. Cookie, was throwing cookies in the first few innings. Joey Meneses, he lined one past Tyler Freeman in center. That's a 2-run double. Ildemaro Vargas, he had a great game. And Lane Thomas, they both found some gaps and holes for RBI singles. So it's 4-0 Washington after 2. And it felt like a throwaway game, I'm not going to lie. And I was really only watching the game for this kid's debut. Daniel Schneemann, on the first pitch he ever saw, he rips a 2-run double. Everyone in the crowd is pumped up. His family is there. Debuts are so much fun. And so are hit and runs. My friend Joey Gallo had the head start, and he gets the 3rd on a broken bat hit from Ildemaro Vargas. That sets up a long sac fly opportunity for Lane Thomas. He barely misses a 3-run home run. Kyle Finnegan, he collects his 16th save on 9 pitches. Washington's future is very, very bright. They just have to get healthy. Hopefully, Cade Cavalli comes back better than ever next year. The Yankees aren't even at full strength yet, and man, they feel like an all-time team. I'm not gonna lie. This was a super fun back and forth game, so let's get into it. You guys remember that Nickelodeon show, The Avatar, and how they bring up in the intro, water, earth, fire, air, then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked? That's basically what happened when Juan Soto got traded to the Yankees. 16 home runs to Aaron Judge's 21. How is that even fair? He went 430 off of Blake Snell. Now, San Francisco, they did tie it on a Casey Schmidt single. More on him in a second because Elliot Ramos just gave the Giants a lead. That kid's been incredible. He and Casey Schmidt combined for 5 RBIs. Schmidt followed up Ramos' solo home run with a solo shot to left field. Snell and the Giants pen immediately squandered the lead. Snell had to leave on pitch number 99. He felt a pinch in his groin. I think he left with the bases loaded or something like that, and Verdugo, he almost clears him. Another lefty-lefty RBI extra base hit. Doogie now has 4 RBIs over the last 24 hours. Dennis Santana's days with the Yankees might be numbered, though. He gave up their lead as Elliot Ramos had his second and third RBI of the game. Ramos inflated Santana's ERA over 5, but he's not the only reliever that had some trouble and gave up a lead. Camilo Doval struggled against Gleyber Torres. That's a single. Anthony Volpe, he split the gap and found triples alley. The kid's on pace for 185 base hits, 30 stolen bases, maybe a platinum glove, but he's being overshadowed by this guy. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, they're just destroying baseballs. Soto is now on pace for 141 RBIs. He barreled up a mistake cutter, way too much play, and he even hit us with the bat flip. Soto now has 17 home runs, 53 RBIs. Judge, he has 21 home runs, 47 RBIs. Stanton only has 14 home runs. What a bum. He now has 3 RBIs over the last 2 games. His RBI double makes it 7-5. Then you got to deal with the real-life Terminator and Clay Holmes. He has 17 saves now and a 1.37 ERA. Now, the sad part about that last game is the fact that Blake Snell is most likely going to be on the IL for the next few weeks with a groin injury. This is the second time that he's going to hit the IL. He missed all of spring training because Scott Boras took forever with not only Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery as well. And Blake Snell said this week that spring training is very important. Hopefully the MLB teams see that. So we kind of call out Scott Boras in my opinion. And to me, because of his rough start, he's got a 10+ ERA and the injuries, he's costing himself a lot of money on the back end, which is crazy to say because he's a 2-time Cy Young winner and he's probably never going to get a mega deal. The Yankees are MLB's first team to 42 wins, but there might be a second team joining them. The Phillies are also sitting at 41, and that's not a great way to start your quest for number 42. Taijuan Walker, why is he starting games over Spencer Turnbull? They were actually chanting in Philly, "We want Turnbull." Nolan Gorman is fine with that because he gets a 2-run home run to just leave. And oh boy, here we go. The Phillies, they tied it for Taijuan, who then walked Mason Wynn, and good lord, Nick Castellanos, he didn't even have to move. Alec Burleson mashed a 2-run missile. That breaks an 0-for-19 slump for Alec. Taijuan is so lucky. My other friend, Bryson Stott, rakes because Walker's off the hook now. Stott's clutch 2-run single the other way ties it at 4. So we're still tied in the 9th inning, and check out Jose Alvarado, who says pitchers are not athletes. Look at that scoop throw, and wait, is this ball fair? Mason Wynn, he might have just put the Cardinals up 1. It's barely foul. Everyone was waiting to see the result. Wynn, he's staring. Jose, same thing. And again, it's foul, but Alvarado, he clutched up. Wynn chased the slider, and Harper, he's going to get a chance at a walk-off. He gets jammed. Reliever John King goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 9th. To extras we go. Gorman, he picked up his 3rd RBI to seal the Phillies' fate. By the way, Nolan Gorman is hitting .322 with 7 home runs and 16 RBIs over his last 16. Ryan Helsley, he stranded the ghost runner in the bottom half for his 19th save. The Cardinals are 28-29. The Phillies, they're stuck at 41, as if that's a bad thing. They're 41-19. That's really impressive. The Dodgers are creeping up to 40 wins, and Mookie Betts wants it. He was 0-for-14 coming into this at-bat. He snaps it with his 52nd leadoff home run in his career. That's 1 behind Craig Biggio for 4th most all-time. Frederick, he goes yard. Brenton Doyle made us wait a little bit because it hit off his glove, off the thumb of his glove. I thought that he had it. Later, Freddie, he got himself in scoring position. Then he stole second. Enter Miguel Vargas, who knocked in Freddie. Staying with Freddie, Colorado, they walked Ohtani to get the bases loaded for Frederick for Freddie. They did what? It makes sense because runners were at 2nd and 3rd. They wanted a double play or a force out. Freddie, he lines it to center. That's an RBI sac fly. Chris Bryant's double play in the 9th closed out an easy game, but I got to talk about Gavin Stone and tip my cap to him. Remember, he's a rookie. Colorado's offense is not that bad. He had 6 strikeouts over 5 shutout, and since April 26th, he's made 7 starts. He's allowed 1 run or fewer in 6 of those 7. He has a 1.6 ERA his last 44 innings. The Dodgers are simply loaded in every way possible. The Rangers kind of had the same game, only their first few runs were not as loud, and well, Texas, they might have ended another Miami starter's career in Miami. Simeon, he started the game with a single. Seager makes it back-to-back, and Marcus, he motored all the way to 3rd base. Robbie Grossman and Adolis Garcia, they both singled to make it 4 consecutive base hits off of Trevor Rogers. It's 3-0 now after Jonah Heim bounced into a double play. Now, to Trevor's credit, he did throw 4 shutout after that 4-run first, and Adolis, he broke the little streak that Rogers had. Adolis now has 13 home runs. He's officially in the 40 RBI club. Trevor Rogers, though, his ERA is now 5.4 since 2020. 2022. Andrew Heaney, on the other hand, his ERA since 2022 is now 3.8. He treated himself to a beauty. He went 6 frames without a single walk allowed. He racked up 7 strikeouts along the way, and he just sliced and diced Miami all game long. Tavares, he singled in 1 more. Marcus Semien took his 3rd walk of the game. The bases are loaded for Gronkowski. It's a boring little RBI ground out, but the Rangers, they do win 6-0 as Grant Anderson finished off Jazz with a slider. Again, guys, I know it's June. Some of you guys don't like me talking about standings, but I think it's fun. So Texas wins their 2nd in a row. The Mariners, they're just not letting up. They win their 3rd in a row because they just refuse to let Texas gain any ground. Luke Raley, more like Nuke Raley, he has 6 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and a 120 OPS plus. Luis Castillo was in his bag on the bump, and he got some help from his 3rd baseman, Josh Rojas. He barehands it. He nabs Zach Neto. Now, real quick, I do have to show off Luis flexing his nasty pitch mix because he went 7 scoreless with 6 punch outs, just 2 base hits allowed all game long. He's been doing this for a while as well. Since 2022, he has a 3.3 ERA and a 10 strikeouts per 9, but he's only 39 and 43. 39 wins, 43 losses. That's why pitcher wins are the worst indication of a pitcher's success. Anyway, Angel starter Griffin Canning, he was great as well, but he does take the tough L after the Halos imploded later in the 8th. There was an error, the bases were loaded, and then Luke Raley got hit by a pitch for another RBI. Mitch Garver, he then cleared everything. Well, not the fence, but he did clear the bases. The Mariners, they're 34 and 27. They're 4 games up on the Rangers. Seattle is now 7-3 over their last 10, and if Minnesota wins down a Minute Maid, they're also going to be winners of 7 of their last 10. Remember what I said a few days ago? Trevor Larnach only hits big boy home runs. Don't let the outfielders fool you, by the way. That ball was way gone, 415 feet. If Larnach and Kirilloff all break out this year and reach their potential, they can both be 50 extra base hit guys with a 120-ish, 130-ish OPS plus. That was the only run scored that was not on a long ball. Victor Caratini, he might be stealing some at-bats from Yander Diaz. I'm still going with Diaz, but Victor now has 4 home runs. Kyle Tucker, he singled right before Bregman deleted another baseball. He's got 7 home runs, 15 RBIs, and a 950 OPS over his last 20. Houston, they steal the lead, and then Jose Miranda pulled a Bregman. He steals the lead with 2 RBIs of his own, the first on a solo home run and the second on a go-ahead double in the 8th inning. Miranda, he's now hitting 280 with 15 extra base hits, 20 RBIs in 44 games. He's still just 25 years old. So it really seems like him being bad in 2023 was the fluke year as opposed to him being really good in 2022. Johan Durant's 10 save caps off a series W for the Twins. They're now 33 and 26, both the Twins and the Royals gain a game on the Guardians. I forgot we had some drama in this game, and to be honest, I think it's some pretty funny drama, and just wait for it. Milwaukee's ace Freddie Peralta had a rocky first inning. He found himself down a few after Sheets singled, and DeYoung, he lifted a sac fly. Luckily, his offense is insane. Joey Ortiz got on for Jake Bauers, who then doubled home Ortiz. Bauers is so weird. He's hitting 209, but he has 25 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and a 98 OPS plus, so technically, he's not even been that bad despite hitting 209. Jackson Chourio, he did not miss a hanging slider. That's his 6th of the season. They're giving him all the leash in the world. Paul DeYoung, he's getting a lot of leash as well. He's making himself a potential trade target. 9 home runs from a shortstop who has awful on-base skills, though might be tantalizing. I don't know. It is now 4-3 Milwaukee. William Contreras, he wanted to pour it on. The bases are loaded. Does it have enough juice? Oh my, David Fletcher, look at the pitcher's reaction. That is one of the best catches of the year. Now, I hate to just skip to the drama, but we do have some drama because Corey Julks, he skied one to Yelly in left field. Yelly cuts down Pham at home, and William, I guess, didn't like Pham's slide, so he's kind of like, yeah, I got you out. Pham did not like the smack talk. He was shadow boxing as he was going back out to the field, and then he was kind of mouthing to himself he would mess up William Contreras, that William did not want no problems. Wait until his post-game interview, because now we got to switch gears back to Milwaukee. Scary Gary bloops in 2 more. He has 7 RBIs in his last 4 games. The Brewers, they're 13 games over 500. Anoli Paredes earned a 6-out save, but let's just show Tommy Pham after the game. He's interesting.
1-run ball game, close play at the plate. And actually, it wasn't even close. I'm nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah. There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to somebody up. So.
All right, let me know in the comments between the Reds and the Cubs who has a better chance of making the playoffs. I ask because TJ Friedl, he's hopefully finally back for good. That is a huge, huge, huge swing for the Reds fan base. People just seem to forget that he had 18 home runs and 4 outs above average defensively, so he was an absolute star for the Reds last year. Since he got their final run home on a Jake Fraley sac fly, but here comes the Cubs. Belly, he singles home Nico Horner, and even though Ellie made a sick play to rob David Bodie, the run still scores. I don't know why I'm making it seem like Chicago made a comeback. They lost. Lodolo, he held them to just 2 runs over 6 innings. Alexis Diaz, I almost said he slammed the door, but that is a rough strike 3 call. Seiya, he's rung up on a slider like an inch inside. Diaz, he tossed a clean 9th inning for his 12th save. I'm hoping that he strings together some zeros because he's got to lower that 5.6 ERA. Chicago, they fall to 4-11 over the last few weeks, but even so, both them and the Reds are 7+ games back in the division. I think the Reds are 10 games back. They're going to have to go for a wild card for sure. They're not going to catch up to the Brewers. Sorry, Braves fans. I promise you guys I will not talk about your team last and next recap. I don't know how I did that again. Luis Medina and Charlie Morton, they were so dang good to start this game. Morton went 1-2-3 with 2 punch-outs in the first. Matt Olson did tag Medina and his former team. He singles home Ozuna, but that was it for a while for either squad. Morton and Medina, they combined for 1 run on nearly 12 innings. Morton, he struck out Soderstrom for a 6th strikeout, and then he picked off Schumann. Morton gave up 8 runs in his last start, so it's pretty cool to see the 41 or 42-year-old locked back in for 6 shutout. Zach Geloff, he was thankful that Morton could not go 7. He blasted off for a moonshot nearly 450 feet for his 4th of the year. And now we have even more former Oakland Athletic action. Sean Murphy doubled in 1, and then Ozzie Albies singled in another. So not every single run was driven in by a former Oakland Athletic. Rizal, he finished off the A's in a perfect 9th. He only needed 9 pitches. He's got 15 saves. The Atlanta Braves pick up a game on the Phillies. They're 6.5 games back in the East, but they're 5 games up in the wild card. Remember, 3 wildcard teams make it to the playoffs now. So that does it for today's recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Today was a big recap. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and enjoy the web gems.
So there's pulls one now, Alvarado. That's a perfect bunt. He shoveled it. Oh! Lifted it short, and Witt makes the play.
Which was to have been Alek Manoah's start. This one to center field. Far shot.
And DeLuca golfs this to center field and fairly deep. Mullins is back. He's at the warning track. He leaps.
There's a drive to right. Garcia coming in. He does.
Nimmo to second. Marte, another pretty play at second. What a spinning.
He'll hammer that one toward the hole. Sliding play from the knee. The throw to first. Got him!
Shirts that go toward research as well. It's a fair ball. Nice play by LeMahieu. He fired.
Line and caught. Diving at second base.